Yo, what's going on, man? Today is June the 10th, and this is the WNBA ChrisBeCappinn Show for today. Well, actually, it's for tomorrow. There are two games on the slate for the WNBA today. We talked about those games last night, and I kind of want to watch those games. So I was thinking to myself earlier, I was like, man, it'd be nice if I could just go ahead and do the show early today, so I can, like actually watch and be ready for, the games that come on tonight. So I'm gonna try to do this pretty quickly, get through the games for tomorrow. So I'm not doing a night show and, it kind of throws me off from watching those games. Give you guys my thoughts and opinions on all three games for tomorrow. I've not bet any of them yet, but there's a couple ways that I'm looking. Just kind of waiting for the injury report to come out before I pull the trigger on some of these. But there's one that a couple that I really like. So with no further ado, let's just jump into it, man. Yesterday I went 1-1. This should say, I want to give myself credit. Want to give myself credit. Let's add my little green check, man. Got to give myself credit. I did finally, hit a bet yesterday. Even at overtime, the Sparks couldn't get to that 86.5 on their team total, and they probably should have stayed under in the first half too, man. Kelsey Plum hit a walk-up three-pointer in Timmy Fangvegle's face with a couple seconds left, and they end up barely going over. It was a little higher scoring than I thought, but then they end up going to overtime and still can't get to 86. So we finished 1-1 yesterday. I have still been pretty terrible in the WNBA, but like I said, it's still a long season to go, and looking to bounce back for sure. So hopefully you guys are making money in the W, and hopefully I can start making some money in the W. Algina says, "What's up, Chris and chat? Went 1-1 in the WNBA last night. Cashed the first half over 80. Lost Kelsey Mitchell under her 5.5 assists. She finished with 7. I kind of like that look a lot. I think I talked about that as well. She did end up with 7 last night. What's up, Mitchell? Appreciate you for tapping in. What's up, GLB? Says, let's get paid. What up, Peasy? Brian says, what's up, Chris? Taking New York minus 17 tonight. I could not talk you off, man. I was actually, I think there's a lot of ways to bet that game. But with Jocko Jones ruled out, like we talked about last night, I do think that the Liberties still end up smacking the Chicago Sky around in the first half. That first half was, I saw it open at 8.5. It went up to 9.5. And looks like it's settled at 9 right now on Bet365, but 9.5 everywhere else. I kind of think that New York still wins the game. Also was looking at that first quarter team total. It's like 22.5 on FanDuel right now. I think that's a little bit too low for the New York Liberties offense. I was going through it and looking through the numbers a little bit more, and they've been shooting the ball really well from the 3-point line. And that's what the Sky's defense has really struggled against, is, defending them some of those perimeter shots. So, yeah, I think a couple ways I wanted to bet it. I may end up taking it live, though. We shall see. What's up, Prolific? He says, oh, boy, little Chris, some space. Let's go. He says, catching on mid tip-off. Yes, the tip-off is about to happen for these other games, which is why I'm trying to get in and get out of these games so I can go watch them. Chad says, Storm and Mercury tomorrow. Let's jump into it and talk about it. So start with Jackson as we always do. Don't have a recap for Jackson yet because the games haven't been played. Tomorrow, I asked Jackson what was the best total on the board for tomorrow, and we do have some agreement here. Jackson likes the Sparks and the Aces over. I haven't bet this yet, but it makes sense, right? Jackson says that the best line is at 165.5, is 166.5. It's already up to 167.5 on a couple books. It says the game is expected to be high scoring due to both teams' defensive struggles and offensive firepower. The Sparks allow the 4th most points per game at 84.2. They have the 4th worst defensive rating at 106.7. Meanwhile, the Aces boast an elite offensive scoring options like Asia Wilson, who can exploit the Sparks' weak interior defense. The previous game matchup combined for 177 points, easily surpassing the total. The over is at 165.5. Looks promising. So I kind of agree with that. 165.5 on a couple books, but it is already pushing to 165.5. So I agree with the breakdown there from Jackson. As far as player props, Jackson likes for tomorrow. Jackson likes Arike Ogunbowale over her 16.5 points. I don't think I agree with this. It says Arike has been the primary scoring option for the Dallas Wings, averaging 16.3 points per game in her last 10 contests. Despite Dallas' struggle, Ogunbowale has consistently taken her volume of shots, averaging 15.6 field goal attempts per game in her last 10 outings. The Phoenix Mercury defense ranked 4th in the league in points allowed per game at 78.1, but they've struggled to contain high-scoring guards. Ogunbowale's ability to create her own shot makes for a strong candidate to surpass this line. In her last game against the Lynx, she scored 26 points. She's not even playing against the Lynx, though. Oh, in her last game against the Lynx, she did just score 26 points. She scored 26 points, showcasing her scoring potential in tough matchups. And that was a tough opponent. So 2 looks from Jackson. Arika Ogunbowale over her 16.5 points tomorrow against the Phoenix Mercury. And then a look on the over, which I definitely agree with that look on the over. Let's jump into it for tomorrow, though. So first game we got up is the Lynx in this storm. Going through the game, a couple things kind of stood out to me. So I'll just read you guys what I put in my notes. So no, I didn't see anybody on the injury report for either team, but you do kind of wait till these injury reports are released because some crazy things can happen, similar to NBA, of course. Minnesota comes into this game. They've actually covered 3 of their last 5. They've covered 3 of their 5 road games. One of only 2 undefeated teams in the league, of course, them and the New York Liberty. They've covered 2 games in a row now after failing to cover 5 games in a row. They've also had this. They also own the second biggest point differential in Commissioner's Cup play. We got to remember that these teams are in Commissioner's Cup up until the end of the month, I think it is. So some things to kind of take into consideration. They're behind only the New York Liberty. The New York Liberty got that big 48-point win over the Connecticut Sun. It's probably going to push them to just probably being under having the biggest point differential. But we shall see. This is their 5th straight game for the Minnesota Lynx with travel. They were at home, road, and now most recently at home, and now most recently in Dallas, and now they're on the road again. Seattle comes into this game with a 1-day rest advantage. They've won 2 games in a row. They've only covered 2 of their 5 home games so far. They are 2-1 straight up and against the spread as a dog. So they have played well in this spot. They beat the Aces in this spot. And they're 2-1 in cup play as well. This is a revenge spot for Seattle as well. Minnesota beat them 82-77 in Minnesota about 2 weeks ago. Seattle did end up covering. I think they were getting 7.5 points in that game. And the game did go over the 156.5 total. The 156 total. This total has now moved. I think some money has come in on the under, which I guess makes sense, I guess, in my opinion. Couple things kind of stuck out to me in this game, though, as I just double check the total real quick, make sure I got the line updated. 154.5. So some money has already come in on the under. I actually don't like the under as far as the Seattle Storm being able to slow down the Minnesota Lynx. If we go back, if we just kind of what I was doing when I was looking into this game was I was looking at the Minnesota Lynx shot profile and the Seattle Storm defense. Seattle may be able to slow down the Minnesota Lynx just a tad bit, but the problem that I have here with taking Seattle, even though they are a home dog, I understand that this offense can really dry up when they're not playing against a bad defensive team. Now, they just caught Phoenix in a really bad situational spot. Phoenix was playing, I think, their 9th game or 4th game in 9 nights or something like that. It was something crazy, and they only had 1 day of rest, and they end up going in there, scoring 89 points and kind of blasting the Mercury. I think they beat them by 12. When I look at this Minnesota offense, though, this is a team that loves the mid-range shot, right? They take a lot of mid-range shots. They take a lot of shots, and they shoot them really, really well, right? They take the second most shots. They attempt the second most shots. They make the second most shots as well. And that has been a problem for Seattle's defense. Seattle's actually bottom 3 in the league as far as, defense against that perimeter shot. The way I want to bet the game is I actually want to take Seattle team total under. When I look at Seattle, their offense is not great, man. They are about middle of the pack in offensive rating, but points per game, they're averaging about 80. I just look at this Minnesota Lynx defense, and it's a team that kind of, hangs their hat on the defense. They are second behind only the New York Liberty. Granted, the 2 undefeated teams are the better defensive teams in the WNBA. Only giving up about 73.5 points per game. I do think that this game is going to be played slow pace. You look at Minnesota, they are playing at the slowest pace in the WNBA. That's last 5 games and for the length of the full season. Seattle's not playing a lot faster, 12th in pace and 10th in pace in the last 5 games. So I kind of think that this is an under spot. I would lean more towards Minnesota being able to slow down the Seattle offense. Seattle just they don't do it for me offensively. I think that they could really, really struggle to score. So I like Seattle team total under. I think the best number that you can get is not even out on all the books yet, but the best number you could get is like a 76.5 is what I think I saw that. Let me just 76.5 at -125 on Fanatics right now. Hard Rock already got it open at 75.5. So that's the way that I would bet this one. Really didn't look too much in the player props in this game. Maybe Nafisha Collier over her rebound. She'll have to go down there and battle against NECA, against Ezzy Magbambor. That's the way I would look in this game, but I did not bet it quite yet. That's the strongest look I have on the board for this game, though. What are you guys thinking? Hyperman says, what up, big dog? Appreciate you. Appreciate you for tapping in. Appreciate you for tapping in for sure. I know a lot of people probably didn't look into these games because I'm super early with it. Like I said, I wanted to get off of here in time so I could actually watch the games for tonight without having to come back on after the show to do another show. So I was like, I'm gonna just do them early. But yeah, that's what I like. I like Seattle team total under 76.5. I think they struggle against this Lynx defense. Even at home, I think that they struggle. So moving on to the next game, the Wings and the Mercury. I think this line may have moved. I put this graphic in a little bit earlier when play soccer with my son, and then I saw that AT is supposed to be back, and the line is shifted. Yes, it's up to 6 now. I do think that this line is going to continue to get bigger. I already see 6.5 popping up. The total is only moving north. It looks like it's up to 167.5 on a couple books, but some 167s out there as well. I mean, Alyssa Thomas is supposed to be coming back in this game tomorrow. She's on track to play. Ty Harris get well soon. She's done for the season after having knee surgery, which is the backup point guard for the Dallas Wings. And the Dallas Wings do get Paige Beckers back. She's not going to be on a minutes restriction per her coach. So they should be in good shape. Now, will she look a little rusty? I think so. Phoenix is a really good defensive team as well. This Dallas team does not put a lot of fear in my heart at all. They're 0-3 in cup play, 0-5 in their last 5 games. They've only covered one of those 5 spreads, and just so happened to be against the Seattle Storm when I bet the Seattle Storm. But outside of that, they haven't covered. Even after having a 2-point, being down by 2 at the end of the third quarter in their last game against the Minnesota Lynx just a couple nights ago, they still end up getting blown out, lost the fourth quarter 24-9, get smacked off the floor on their home floor in that game. But they get Paige back. That should help the defense a little bit. Maybe AT's a little rusty. I'm still only looking towards either the Mercury or the Mercury team total to go over. Dallas has played in 3 straight unders, though. Like defensively, they've been a little bit better in a couple of those games, but I just don't expect a lot from this Dallas team. When I look at the Mercury, they do have a 1-day rest advantage in this spot. They're 2-2 in cup play. 3rd straight home game for them. They're coming off a loss by 12 points to Seattle. Nice little bounce back spot. Getting AT back is not only going to help the offense because she's a true point guard, but it's also going to help the defense. So I think for the Mercury, this is an advantageous spot, especially 3rd straight home game coming off a loss. I think that's be the way that I would look. Historically, Minnesota has also beat up on Dallas a lot. They've beaten this Dallas team 3 straight times. All 3 games have gone over the total, so they have had no trouble scoring the basketball. And I would argue that, the Mercury's offense may even be a little bit better than it was last season, with AT being at the point guard position and no Brittany Griner and no Diana Taurasi. So this is the first matchup this season. I don't know if what I want to do with this game, but I know I don't want Dallas. I can't take Dallas. It's either Phoenix team total over or Phoenix minus the 6 is the only ways that I would be looking in this game. Maybe even a look towards Paige Becker's unders, just because it'll be her first game back. I think after 4 games, she missed 3 with a concussion and then 1 because of illness. Right now, Dallas team total is 80.5. I would probably be looking towards the under. The Mercury team total is 86.5. Dallas religiously gives up 86 points. Real quick, the Dallas Wings defense is allowing an average of 89.6 points per game. They play at the 3rd fastest pace overall, 5th fastest pace last 5 games. And 89 points is what they're giving up in their last 5 games, which is the 2nd worst defensive rated team. So maybe it's just the Mercury team total over. Think that they can get to 87 points, but I also think with AT back, she's going to slow the pace down for both of these teams. So I look towards Dallas team total under. I don't think, which I guess just kind of equates to the spread. Phoenix is only giving up 78 points per game. They're the 4th best defensive rated team in the WNBA, even though they have been playing a little bit faster. 2nd in pace in the last 5 games. But I think that slows down with AT coming back tomorrow. So those are my thoughts. Chad says he got Mercury minus 4.5. -4. Yeah, I think it's -4.5. Yeah. I like it. I think they can win the game by 6 as well. I really, really do. That's the only way I'm looking is the Wings, the Mercury tomorrow in this game. I didn't really look into player props in this one either. Now let's get to the game that I spent the most time on. I don't even know why I spent so much time on this game, but the Aces will be at the crib. Nice little bounce back spot for them against the Sparks tomorrow. Injury reports haven't come out for either team, I don't think, or at least I haven't seen anything yet. Saw this line open up at 10.5, I think it is. Now it's up to 11. 11.5 is available on a couple books as well. You can still get 10.5 on a couple books. And the total, like I said, is moving north. 166.5, 167.5 on a couple books. So we get into this matchup, right? The Aces, they did beat the Sparks the last time that they played. It's a nice bounce back spot for the Sparks. First, I think it was their second home game. They beat the Sparks 96-81 as a 10-point home favorite. So I was very conflicting on this game, right? So first thing I looked at was the situational spot, right? Everything in the game, like from a situational spot, says that you take the Aces, you just lay the points, right? Aces are coming off a game where they absolutely got smoked. Lost that game by, 90? They gave up 95 points to the Valkyries just a couple days ago. Lost the game by 27 points. That was actually Becky Hammon's third worst loss in her tenure in her tenure with the Aces as a coach. Now they have the rest advantage. The Sparks are coming off an overtime game. They're back at home. They've already beaten this team one time. They don't like Kelsey, some history between Kelsey Plum and De'Erica Hamby and all that good stuff. Aces need a win in the worst possible way. They were embarrassed. And I want to say that game was on national TV the other day as well. So do I expect them to play a lot better? Yes. The Sparks are a team that play a lot better on the road than they do at home for whatever reason. I think after last night lost to the Valkyries in overtime where they scored just 3 points, I think they're now 1-4 against the spread at home, but they have a positive ATS record on the road. So initially, first thing I looked at was the situational spot. I started looking at double-digit road dogs coming off an overtime game, which this is the situation for the Sparks. Those games are 62% to the under. And if you add that they're less rest, they have less than 2 days rest, 8-3-1 to the under. So that's 62% and 67 and 72.7%. Aces, like I said, were embarrassed in that game. It makes a lot of sense that they would want to come out here, put their foot on the Sparks' neck and just absolutely crush this team. But then I started looking into the numbers. Also, more trends towards the under. Dogs coming off an overtime game that are also seeking in-season revenge because, as I mentioned, the Sparks already lost 41, 22, and 2 to the under. 65% of the games, this is the situation for the Sparks, have gone under. Then I started digging into the numbers. This Aces defense is just not that great. I mean, no matter how you look at it, this defense has not been good. Now, we expect them to play with some pride after giving up 95 points to the Valkyries in their last game. Yes, I'm guessing that's the right thing to play. I can't lay a lot of points with the Aces. I do expect them to win this game. 11 is a tad bit too many. I do feel like they're a little overpriced, a little bit overrated in my opinion here. I don't really want the Sparks. I guess Aces team total over would be the way that I would look. The number is high, comes in at 89.5, but I think that they should be able to score against the Sparks team. They scored 96 points in the first time that they played. The Sparks only, play one way, which is pretty fast, no defense. So that's the way that I would look. Sparks also 2-0 to the over as road dogs so far this season. They haven't stopped either one of their opponents from scoring at least 89 points in either game. Aces are actually number 1 in pace in the last 5 games. So Aces team total over, I think, is where I kind of landed. I couldn't talk anybody off. This number isn't even available yet, but Aces first half team total over. I think that they should be able to kind of come out and do whatever they want to against the Sparks team. The Sparks will turn the ball over, I think. Aces will be able to get out and run in transition, even though they're not a team that turns you over a lot of times. I think the Sparks will just be a little fatigued after the overtime game. Aces got a lot to prove. From a player prop perspective, I'll go over to Outlier really quickly because I was thinking about a way to play this game. And the thing that stood out to me the most was to share my screen, going over to Outlier really quickly. There's a link in the description as always where you guys can check out Outlier if you're interested. And we're going to finish up perfect timing right before the game starts. So I'm looking at Asia tomorrow. Actually, towards Asia's assist tomorrow. So the number is 3.5. It's juiced. You see a -138 on FanDuel right now. I think you could even play this at plus money for, 5+ assists when that becomes available. I don't think it's available yet, but you can see she's coming off back-to-back games where she only had 2 and 3 assists. Before that, she had 4 straight games where she had 4 assists or more, right? But even outside of this, and in this game against the Sparks, you can see right here, she finished with 6 assists. She also had 35 points in this game earlier this season. I think she had 35, what was it? 35, 10 and 6, 10 rebounds and 6 assists. So this just makes sense to me. If you had a chance to watch the Valkyrie game, they doubled her so much. Like, she literally could not move. They triple teamed her at times. And after the game, in the post-game interview, she mentioned that they have to figure out a way for the team to be able to score the basketball when A'ja Wilson is not, when she's starting to get some of these double teams, when she's starting to get some of these triple teams, because everybody knows she wants to get the ball in the paint. So if you are the Sparks team, you had to watch tape on that game. You also had to watch tape on how A'ja Wilson just dropped 35 on you in the last game. So if you're going to combat that, you're not going to stop A'ja Wilson. Nobody on this team can stop her. De'Erica Hamby, Azurá Stevens, they don't have anybody that can guard A'ja Wilson. So if they don't double A'ja, she will, of course, have another, really, really big scoring game. But I am expecting her to be able to facilitate because of this. So I think, even with the fatigue coming in as well, the Sparks players all played pretty big minutes last night. They're smart. They'll double A'ja like Golden State did. Take a page out of that book. And I do think that A'ja will be able to kick to some of the shooters and knock some of the shots down. Chelsea Gray, Jewel Lloyd. I think those players play well tomorrow. So that would be the way that I would look in this game, man. I think A'ja over her 3.5 assists. And like I said, I would play this up to, I would play to 5 as well. I think that's a really good number. So those are my thoughts on the 3 games for tomorrow, man. I'll just run through the recap real quick. What up, Dax? Appreciate you for tapping in, bro. Just running through. Let me just see, make sure I didn't add anything else. Yeah, just running through a recap really quickly. A'ja over 3.5 assists. Just talked about that. Sparks team total over 89.5. Not Sparks. Aces team total over 89.5. That's definitely a typo. I didn't bet any of this yet because I'm waiting to get better numbers tomorrow. But this should say Las Vegas over their team total at 89.5. And I do think that the defense for the Lynx steps up tomorrow. So under 86, under 76.5. If you play these now, which I can't really play them now because excuse me. The books that are available to me are the ones that I'm limited on. But if you play these now, I do think you have a little CLV. So even if you're watching the show later, and you're not watching it live, I do think there's some CLV here. The other thing that I would add would be Phoenix. I would jump on that now and lay the 6 with them. And I probably will end up on a couple plays for tomorrow. Lately, I've been playing like one play, not a lot. So I'll probably end up on this. At least a couple of these plays that you guys see on the screen. If you want the live links, the looks that I do end up on, just use the link in the description. You guys can get the play sent to your email immediately. Check the resources out as always. They are in the description of the video. Save yourself some coin by signing up using those. And that'll be it, man. I got the Atlanta Dream in this game for tonight. So I'm about to go watch this game. Best of luck on whatever it is that you guys have. If you have any action for tonight. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. There's more WNBA tomorrow. And we got to talk NBA for game 3 of the NBA Finals for tomorrow as well. Best of luck. Catch you guys in the next one, man.